Hey guys, and welcome back to Pro Speed Baseball. Today we are going over 2017 Home Run Derby champion Aaron Judge and his swing. Now we're going to go over how Aaron Judge fits the Pro Speed hitting system perfectly, but we're also going to go over some big myths that I've seen in some recent instruction that Aaron Judge busts right out of the water. And we're also going to tackle the big question that a lot of guys are asking: does Aaron Judge swing up at the ball? Well, guys, we got some great info. We got some great angles from the Home Run Derby, so we can learn some things for our own swings today. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, so as we're going over these big positions that we teach in the Pro Speed hitting system, we're going to be simultaneously going over some of the myths, some big myths that we've seen in instruction lately, and also answer that question: does Aaron Judge swing up? So we're going to go ahead and just go rocket fire through this, and just kind of pay attention to these positions, because these are the big positions that you should be paying attention into your own swing. So what we're going to do is take Aaron Judge into his full load stride position. That's when that front foot gets down. When that front foot gets down, that's what's considered our max load position. And in the Pro Speed hitting system, he's hitting all the parameters perfectly for our hand positioning. He's got his hands behind the shoulder from the face-on view. They're right there around that shoulder height. Remember, in the system, we can be anywhere around that line as long as we're not too high, not too low. And then the big one, get a lot of questions about this lately: does Aaron Judge keep his hands in front of the vertical toe line? Well, again, guys, we had some great angles here in the Home Run Derby of the down the line view. It's a little offset, but still plenty good enough for us to check our vertical toe line on Aaron Judge, and we can clearly see here, we'll even zoom in, that Aaron Judge's hands are well in front of that vertical toe line. He's one of those guys that gets a little bit closer. I've got some other guys that are a little bit further away: Miguel Cabrera, Albert Pujols, those kind of deals. But one thing we'll get into later is why Aaron Judge can get away with not being exactly perfect, but in terms of hand positioning, he falls perfectly within the Pro Speed hitting system. We can see it right there. This is a perfect angle to be able to see this, and we're going to see this. We're actually going to take another look at him hitting a home run off to center field as well. So if you guys at home are looking at these are some of the most important positions in the swing, is getting into that proper loaded position. So now we're going to take Aaron into his through swing here, and we're going to bust our first myth. I've seen some instruction out there lately about how you want to slide this back foot forward, and there's even some drills out there where you want to try to take your knees and drive them together. You want to try to get your knees really close together. Well, this is something that's really misunderstood in the world of baseball instruction, because the idea of this back foot coming up off the ground is misunderstood in terms of the fact that the back foot coming up off the ground is not a conscious move. You'll see a lot of big leaguers with their back foot coming up off the ground because they're getting an efficient weight transfer and they're using their lower body properly. So it's essentially a violent move. All those guys that you see taking their back foot up off the ground are just being efficient with their weight transfer. So something we're going to look in here, we're actually going to zoom in right here down on Aaron Judge's toe, right there, so we can see it. We're going to see his foot stays on the ground the entire time. In the Pro Speed hitting system, we talk about, making sure that our foot stays around that same spot, and we talk about if it does come up and move forward a little bit, that's fine, but is making sure that we get the proper weight transfer. But we're going to see it's going to miss our, we have a drill called the plyo box weight transfer drill, where that back foot's going to mix that box, and we can see it's missing the box right there very nicely, but also staying relatively in the same place. You can see there's not a big shift forward, and we can see clearly here that the knees have not gone together. I mean, in any baseball swing where we have any kind of rotation in the back foot, the knees will, yes, they will essentially get closer together, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're trying to drive our knees together. So now we're going to bust another myth that we hear about in the instruction world, where we say we don't want to take our hands to the ball. This is something we get a lot of questions about here at Pro Speed Baseball, because the technique of swinging a lever in our hands and hitting an object that's moving, we want to take our force, which is our hands, to the point of contact. That's because the top heavy lever will counterbalance the hands and come around ideally into contact, which we're going to get into here in a minute when we talk about does Aaron Judge swing up at the ball. But let's go ahead and just take a close look here. We've got Aaron Judge hitting the home run over here to left field, over here on the right, and he's actually hitting one over here to center on the left. And we're going to go in here to contact in both of these, and we're going to notice a pretty big difference here. So in the frame over here on the left, we can clearly see both of Aaron Judge's hands from the down the line view. We can see, this is a great checkpoint for you guys at home working on the tee, working on down the middle pitches is something we're going to want to see on a down the middle pitch. We're going to want to be able to see our hands from the down the line view. Maybe not that quite far out. This is a little bit more of an outside pitch, but this is definitely a very good look. And then over here on the left, you can see here this pitch was more on the inner half of the plate, even pretty far inside. And we can see we're missing a little bit of a frame there, but you'd be able to see a little bit of the top of his right hand there. Now that's the difference in between what we're actually trying to analyze versus what's actually happening. You'll have some instruction out there that says, look, we want to pull the hands in because they're seeing the swing over here on the left, but then when we look over here on the right, we can clearly see the hands are taking the bat out to the pitch that's out over the right center half of the plate. And my favorite is where so we see some instruction where they say, well, this is more of an emergency swing where you want to disconnect the hands from the body. Well, I don't think this was an emergency swing for Aaron Judge when he hit this ball over 440 feet out in center field. So that's not essentially an emergency swing, and that's something that I guess for another video, but doesn't really exist in the baseball world. Maybe a swing where we get fooled and slap at something like that, but it's not something we can consciously think about whenever we're making a full swing, especially when we're hitting in the game. So the last big piece we're going to talk about is our transition, or what we call pro speed bat lag, where we get into what we call the max bat lag position. And this is going to take us into, does Aaron Judge swing up at the ball? So let's go ahead and we're going to take him into his max bat lag position, which is when we actually pause the swing right before he gets to the torso. And again, this is a great checkpoint for you guys out there who are working on getting into a good transition. And what we're going to clearly see here is Aaron Judge's bat very nice in a nice high barrel position. This is something we're going to want to see in our max bat lag position in any pitch we're going to want to swing at that's anywhere near the strike zone. And our big down the line checkpoint for bat lag is when we get into this position is making sure that first and foremost that this barrel is behind the hands. But you can see in Aaron Judge's swing, he has an excellent lag position here where the barrel is actually behind his upper arm. This is where he can create a lot of speed because he's creating a huge swing circle, which is another lesson we have in the pro speed hitting system. But he's creating a huge swing circle, which gives us more room and more opportunity to build speed. So the longer our swing circle is, the more potential energy we can transfer in the ball because the more speed that we have. Now, does Aaron Judge swing up at the ball? So we can see him executing a perfect max bat lag position, exactly like we talk about in the hitting system. And we wonder, well, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's look at this dynamically. We're going to go ahead and zoom way in here so we can see this. So we're going to look at him from the end of his load stride position. So we're going to see the hand position. And guys, this is true no matter where you're at. Unless you hold your hands way down here or do something really funky, your hands have to move in a downward fashion to get to the ball. So we'll mark this line right here. We're going to see his hands break that line. So already his hands are moving in a downward fashion to get into that max lag position. This is one of the big moves we want to have when we're getting into that lag position so that we can get that high barrel position in our swing. Now here's where a little thing called physics comes in. We have a 6'7", 282 pounds, pretty much specimen swinging this bat at a very high mile per hour. And this is where we talk about, just like we talk about in the Swing Plane Secret video, how speed creates weight. So right now we're swinging a top heavy lever. We're creating force in the direction or in the path of the baseball with our hands. And now the speed in the head of the bat is going to be working downwards. Now it's because it's attempting to follow the hand path. So right now, if we continue this hand path, the mass of the bat, the heavy part of the bat, which is towards the end of the bat, close to the sweet spot, is going to be attempting to follow this hand path. And because Aaron Judge swings at such a high velocity, this weight that he's creating in the head of the bat is going to be coming down with much more force than your average hitter, and even more force than your average big leaguer because of the rate of speed that he's swinging at. Now, when this bat is moving down, whenever we've created this force forward, now remember the hand path is to this ball. That's, I think let's go ahead and take it forward. So yeah, the hand path is right there just a little bit below the belt. Our force is going towards that point. So we're going to draw a line for the force. This is where our force is going. And then we can see when the bat is moving at a high rate of speed down this way, this is going to counterbalance the hands and actually push the hands of the bat upwards. And this is where we get that nice swing plane look, where that barrel gets below the hands at contact. Now, don't get me wrong, Aaron Judge does create a little bit of angle in his swing. He's a really big guy. He's getting paid to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And we can see here when we do draw his max lag position, his torso is a little bit more angled backwards. And a lot of hitters, that aren't, as big and strong as him, you're actually going to see this line down the torso a little bit more vertical, which is why you're not going to see as severe of a move where he's finishing more up looking in his swing. So just to be completely clear, yes, his bat barrel is moving up into the ball, but this is not a conscious move. This is not something that we should be trying to do in our swing. If you get up to 6'7", 282 pounds, and you want to swing the bat well over 100 miles an hour, and because you have so much force going into it, you want to lean back a little bit and try to drive the ball out of the park, then by all means do it. But make sure that we're not trying to dip that barrel below the hands, because that will create itself on its own. So to answer the question, does Aaron Judge swing up at the ball? Well, technically, no, he doesn't swing up at the ball. Does his barrel travel up into the ball in pitches that are a little bit upper in the strike zone? Absolutely, because of the the mass follows force, which is the barrel is following the hands, and that's what creates that upward motion in the swing. And again, guys, keep in mind out there, Aaron Judge is, again, I know I said it before, he's 6'7", 282 pounds. Look at the big pieces to help your own swing, but don't try to emulate the positions that we see in slow motion. If we try to recreate this position where the barrel's way below the hands and we're trying to swing up and make it look like we're uppercutting the ball, I guarantee you we're going to run into a lot of issues out there. And, understanding that the mass follows the force and knowing that we want our hand path to get out to the ball is crucial for our swing. Now, guys, every great hitter is going to get into that nice max bat lag position that we just showed Aaron Judge in. If you're looking to get your swing into that nice position, I highly recommend you check out the bonus video that we're going to play a preview of at the end of this video that shows you how to get into that position instantaneously. You can check out that video by clicking on the iCard in your upper right-hand corner of your screen or in the link in the description below. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Congratulations again to Aaron Judge. Guys, I hope you learned something that can help you out in your own swing today. So, guys, get out there, get some work in. Good luck with your swings, good luck with your games, and we'll see you guys soon. Today, I'm going to show you the #1 move that kills bat lag. But most importantly, we're going to do a drill that will instantly give you a tight transition into bat lag and have your swing looking drastically better today. The move that I'm talking about here is when we're going into our transition and the bat lays down, and now the only thing that we have to rely on for bat speed is our pure strength. From Mike Trout, he does this really, really well. You'll see as we pause him here in the max bat lag position, his barrel is really high, and you can see that it's barely dipping into that line. You can imagine if this was a nail and this bat was a hammer, if I was trying to hammer this nail in like this would be kind of like me dumping the bat. But if I'm letting this hammer swing and slam into this ball over and over again, I'm going to be very, very efficient. Now, I'm sure you guys are ready for it by now. Let's go ahead and dive into the wall drill. All right, guys, here we go, the wall drill.